Hi, I'm Frederick, or the Vital Fred, and in this video I want to talk about the topic of mastery. So mastery is about developing excellence in a particular field of life. This could be playing the piano, or playing guitar, or playing tennis, or becoming really great at doing business, or creating something beautiful art. And this topic was inspired by the book Mastery by George Leonard. And he talks about mastery is not just this linear process where you go from A to B. You start a beginner and then you practice, and then you get better, practice some more, keep disciplined and consistently practice, and then you become a master eventually. No, it's not this easy process. It's much more like you practice as a beginner, you fall flat on your face, you have to you don't really like it at first at all, you have to do it multiple times to even get the hang of it. Then you start getting a little bit better and you start seeing results in the beginning, but then you hit this plateau where nothing happens, you keep on practicing, but nothing really happens. And then suddenly, after a lot of continuous practice and discipline, you finally get a little bit better and you hit a plateau again, and then maybe you fall back down, like you become even worse than before. You get one step down, but then maybe you get 2 steps better. So it isn't really this linear process, it's much more complex and sort of roller coaster like. I want to give you a personal example of this in my personal tennis journey. So I've played tennis for all of my life. I got really good at it. I became number 28 in all of Denmark. I also won a bunch of tournaments, including the Zealand championships, like the state championships. And I'm at a good level right now, but it wasn't always like this. When I was younger in the club, I was actually one of the worst in the club, and I was really frustrated, and I kept on going to practice and didn't really like it because I didn't feel like I got better. So I stopped playing tennis, and for years I had a break. But then I watched some tennis, and I saw this famous Danish tennis player, Holger Rune, this aspiring talent who just got really good in the whole tennis world, and I got inspired by him, so I picked up tennis again. And then back here at home, we have this tennis barn, not a tennis barn, but we have a barn where I started practicing and hitting up against the wall, and I started to film myself and see where my tennis technique lacked and where it could be improved. So I started looking at these videos of me playing tennis and saw that there were really areas that I could improve, and I had never before filmed my practice before. And this was sort of an epiphany for me to see, like, wow, there's a lot of areas for improvement here. And it started to become this conscious way of practicing tennis. And I started playing tennis because I enjoyed it again, not because I just had to go to practice, but because I consciously wanted to improve my tennis level. And so now I actually start to enjoy the process of playing tennis and just playing for the sake of it and developing my game. I started then actually going to some tournaments. In the first couple of tournaments, I just fell flat on my face. I lost. But I could see that my game had actually improved from before. So I kept on practicing. I kept on just enjoying it for the sake of it. I got a little bit better and better. And I started to look also on videos of professional tennis players, ATP professionals. And I sort of combined all the good things about their techniques into my technique. So first off, I wanted to copy, so I looked at, for example, Novak Djokovic, one of the best tennis players in the world. I looked at Carlos Alcaraz, also one of the best players, and Holger Rune. And I took some of the best of their techniques and applied it for my tennis game. In the beginning, I just copied it, but I found more value in just taking some of the good things about their technique and apply it in my technique. So time went on, the months passed. I also went to practice what I'd learned in playing up against the wall. I played more tournaments and I started to actually win. I started actually really seeing that my level had improved significantly in those months. And after just continuously practicing, I could actually see some improvements. And now I actually started to win some tournaments. And for the first time, I actually won a tournament in Denmark. And I hadn't tried to do that before, and it was really awesome. But a lot of the time, the thing that inspired me to play and practice wasn't really this thing about wanting to become the best. It was really just the love of the game the love of the game itself, and the love of the process itself. And before I had picked up tennis before, I didn't really have that love of the process. It was more just unconsciously going to the practice. So the thing that shifted was enjoying the process and not just focusing on the destination. It's a bit like what they usually say, the man who loves walking, or the famous saying, the man who loves walking will walk further, will get further than a man who loves the destination. So I really enjoyed the process, and this led me to actually winning tournaments and even getting up to the ranking of number 28 in Denmark. And it ended up being that I became one of the best in my club even. I began competing for my team, and I began competing in team matches, and we even won. I even became like the first single in that team. So crazy progress just over a year or two. The point of this story is just to emphasize the importance of enjoying the process and training because you enjoy it, training for the sake of it. So just to get back on the point about mastery, it requires patience. If you want to get good at something, it requires patience. It requires that you are creative and innovative, that you constantly evolve your practice and you constantly look at how can you improve this area, how can you become a little bit better, can you maybe get inspired by this guy or this guy. So let's say, for example, you're doing business and you're looking at different people doing business, and instead of just following one person, you're following multiple different people. And you're getting a higher perspective on business and becoming someone who can take multiple sources and implement it to your unique style, because it's important that you remember that you're unique, you have unique talents and unique abilities, and you want to really emphasize those unique talents and not just copy someone else, but really get inspired and then pour that into your craft. And you want to just enjoy the process. You want to take some areas where you see, okay, I want to get good at this. For example, for me personally, I want to get better at speaking in a camera. Right now I feel like I'm stuttering. Right now I feel like sometimes I'm missing the red thread. Sometimes I forget what I wanted to say. I don't feel like I get the most important points across. But I'm constantly becoming better, and I feel like just talking in front of a camera, this improves my way, my communication skills and getting my points across to the audience. And you get this sort of, you get into this sort of flow state when you get really good at something. And this is also something that George Leonard talks about. He talks about this flow state where you're just in flow and the words are just coming fluently, right? Like right now. Or in tennis, for example, the strokes are just coming effortlessly. You don't even need to think about it. And the less you're thinking about it, the better it becomes. The better tennis strokes you're hitting, or the better you're speaking, or the better you're doing business, or the better you're playing your guitar, whatever field you're in. It's this zone where you just forget everything. It just becomes flow. So this is also an important aspect of it. And lastly, I just want to mention the amazing feeling you get from becoming better at something. Just choosing anything and just being inspired by really digging deep into this field, and not just stopping when it gets hard, not just stopping on that plateau because something frustrated you, or you're frustrated about that you're not able to get better. But still, you keep on going even when the going gets tough. So I want to end this video. I know it has been a bunch of different areas I've covered. I've covered my mastery process, you can say. I've covered what mastery is about and sort of how you get into this flow state and the plateau. But I want to end up saying that I want to inspire you to choose a field in life that you want to become really good at, and start practicing that every day, even though it's tough and even though you're not seeing results. For me personally, one of these things are talking, like right now in front of a camera, and another thing could be meditation. Another practice I've also been starting to do is meditation, and I also want to make a video in the future about the importance of meditation. I already have some videos about why this moment is as good as it's ever gonna get. If you want to watch that, I have that. And you can choose whatever. You can also choose business, or you can choose becoming really good at drawing, or you can choose whatever you want to do. The most important thing is just that you keep going, keep practicing, and enjoying the process itself, and not caring so much about the results or the ranking in my case, or winning the tournaments. Yes, these are important. The goals you set are definitely important, and it's important to have that in the back of your mind. But you don't want to get discouraged by the practice itself, because again, the man who enjoys walking will walk further than the man who loves the destination. So you want to enjoy walking itself. You want to enjoy the process itself. And this is probably going to be the most important point of this video. And I hope that you can take this practically in your own life when you want to master something. And I think this was it for this video. I hope if you liked it, you can subscribe or like this video. And if you have anything you're curious about, you can comment down below. And stay tuned for the next one. See you. Bye.